what has Tinubu achieved in his 2 years of presidency? To me, if I'm to score Tinubu on a scale of 1 to 10, I think I'll put Tinubu somewhere around. Well, there are two ways. If I want to look at it from the good and the bad side, if I want to focus more on the bad side, I'll give Tinubu maybe 2/10. And if I want to look at it from the good side, I'll give him maybe 5/10. But it should have been on a maybe 8/10. Now, the reason I'm looking at it from the good and bad side is that he has implemented some policies that past administration didn't implement. And if Buhari had done that, as bad as terrible Buhari's government was, it would have been worse. So his government was bad, so he didn't even try to do any of all those implementations. So that was why you see that I said if I want to look at it from the good and the bad side. So from the good side, he did those things, but you can't really show any result for it now because it's just 2 years, and some of those policies may not have the desired outcome within that period of time. But the problem is, what if it fails to have that kind of outcome after like 8 years? He would have wasted people's lives for 8 years. Now that's looking at it from the good side. But from the bad side, Tinubu is carrying out all these so-called policies and all of that, but Tinubu is not cutting his coat according to his material. Tinubu will travel with all sorts of entourage to different parts of the country and outside of the country. Tinubu's children are basically living a lavish lifestyle. And this same Tinubu, of recent, renovated the house of the vice president for 20 billion naira. For what? When people are suffering. And then you look at it again, he bought private jets, or he bought a presidential jet, and that is also in the tune of billions. And so in the end, if you want to look at all those assessments, you'll not be like, okay, this guy is a reckless person who knows that the country is going through a lot, but at the same time, he still prefers to live that kind of life of squander. Then now, let's come to look at the other side now, some of his achievements in terms of infrastructure. Yes, since when Tinubu took over, I stay in Ibadan, for instance, and I know that from Lagos to Ibadan, of course, it was already being done in fact, federal roads are always ongoing projects, but he has continued most of the projects, running Ibadan to Lagos, Benin Road and everything, and some roads in the northern and eastern part. But and now the main one, which would have been a signature project, is the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road. And I saw today on Twitter, someone said that in spite of the fact that would have been Tinubu's signature project that he has been making so much noise on, that he has only done or completed 30 kilometers of the so-called 700-kilometer road. And if that is true, then to me that is an abysmal failure, because if for 2 years, of course, David Umahi and the rest of them have been making so much noise about this, and of course they didn't start within the time he started his government anyway. So but from the time he started till now, it's only just about 30 kilometers, and there's no how in 4 years you'd have finished 700 kilometers. And you know how much they charge per kilometer of that road? About 4 billion naira. 4 billion naira per kilometer. And then we now have so many if it's just 30 kilometers, you know how much would have gone into it, and you know the amount of money that would have been stolen too, because we know about the bidding process for the contract, that some people, the company who got it is the same company that has been associated with Tinubu one way or the other. And so to me, that is a minus for him. They're looking at high-handedness, judging Tinubu from the aspect of his high-handedness. You see that 2/10 is where it should be, because in this Tinubu's era, to the extent that Bakare, a former ally of Tinubu because of the political alliance of APC, has come out to say that Tinubu is turning this country into a one-party state and a totalitarian state, whereby the leader is unopposed in anything. If you are in the opposition party and you do things that are not right, EFCC may come after you. And that is why you see governors from PDP all decamping to APC, not because they feel that, of course, because the APC itself even lacks internal coherence if you really look at it. So in the end, there is no real principle of democracy at play there. So why are they now running away from PDP to APC, if not for the fact that some of them are scared? And because of that, now it's now turning the country into a one-party state. And then lest I forget, I'll still come and talk about the aspects of okay, now let's just continue. So turning the party into a one-party state because people are scared to talk. And then look at of recent now, Very Dark Man was arrested because he kept calling out EFCC. No accountability. If EFCC were to be an organization that was actually accountable and valued the rule of law, they would not have treated Very Dark Man the way they treated Very Dark Man, arresting him in a commando style and locking him up and putting him behind bars as if he was kidnapped, and that didn't really sit well with a lot of Nigerians. So in the end, also look at another one that we saw, Ojikalu, who was supposed to be in jail. This man was arrested December 20, I think 2020, and then later Supreme Court said that he was wrongfully convicted, and as a result of Supreme Court granted him freedom. And this same man is the person that has been in, there has been in politics since at the age of 36. He was a two-time governor of Abia State, and I think I have a screenshot you see now of a complete mess he made of Abia State until Alex Oti of Labour Party came and cleaned the place up. And this man now is in the House of Assembly, in the Senate chamber, coming to campaign openly for Tinubu just 2 years into Tinubu's government. He's wearing the attire, in Tinubu's name and everything, and that is against the Electoral Act, that you are not supposed to campaign openly for anybody. And now it was done in the seat of power, the Senate. That was a complete desecration. If somebody is doing that in his house or on social media, no, they still from coming to do it in the Senate. The hallowed chamber. That's what we said, that chamber, there is nothing that is hallowed about them. There is nothing that is distinguished about many of all those people, because in the end they are all like parasites that are just leeching on the country. And like their colleague described them, he said that their corruption is a corruption that's people driven. That is, they have to steal money to be able to make people settle people to vote them back into power. But if you have a clean record, would you be spending money to do that kind of thing? Obviously, the answer is no. So, with respect to human rights issues, Tinubu has nearly almost failed, because Tinubu is such that if you oppose him, even his bulldogs are the ones that will come after you. Tinubu may not even be the one sending them all of those things. But the truth is that if if the government was a government that was sincere with democracy, he would not have allowed these agencies to be treating people the way they are treating people. And so Reno Omokri has now become a spokesperson for the party. Reno Omokri, who does not have integrity. Reno Omokri, the same Reno Omokri that openly criticized Tinubu, calling Tinubu a drug baron, calling Tinubu a school fraud, calling Tinubu all sorts of things. Tinubu won an election, and this man, has jumped into Tinubu's camp, and he has abandoned Atiku, who he claimed helped him at some point in time. But he said he will never criticize Atiku. But let's just wait. Let the campaign, let election period come, and you'll see this man under pressure will call out Atiku. Because Atiku has described Tinubu's government as complete failure. And Bayo Onanuga has now come to defend Tinubu. I'll be doing a video on that, still trying to work on my script. But in the end, you'll see that Peter Obi, Reno Omokri, that is not an employee of the current government, official employee of the current government, because we all know that he's getting serious money from this current government for what the rubbish he writes on the internet, trying to slander Peter Obi. But Peter Obi has just said that guy is a charlatan and does not need attention or recognition. So Peter Obi, and the more Peter Obi snubs him, the more he gets frustrated. And so Peter Obi should just leave people like that to people like us to deal with him, because he feels that he has achieved so much. And so when people like us, who are relatively unknown, come and start to pull him down, he begins to feel insulted and offended. Because if Peter Obi is insulting him, he doesn't, like when Erufina was having issues with him, he was winning because Erufai is more than him. But when people who are beneath him come and deal with him, he would definitely know how it feels. So to me, looking at it from all this perspective, Tinubu's government is 2/10: economy, security, high-handedness, and all of that. But from political or from economic perspective of what is supposed to be done, did he do it? Did he carry out those policy? Then the answer is yes, which is deregulation, allowing dollar to trade on its own, and the removal of fuel subsidy. Those are the things that are expected to grow an economy. So he did all those ones. Then I'll give him 5/10. But his way of handling it and his sincerity to it is what has not made him to get 8/10 in that regard. If there would have been 8/10 because he's doing the correct thing. But because now we have to look at it from both ways, from the negative part of the abysmal failure in so many things, and the fact that he's probably not listening to the people that voted him there. He's surrounding himself with sycophants. Then from that part, I'll give him 2/10. So that's my take. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I remain your boy Ernest Omokri, Bayo Kojex. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Signing out. Peace.